Yes, I'm here. Anybody awake around? My friends from Guangzhou, China. All right, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Cool. I can see guys coming home. Tell me where you're watching from. All right. Algeria. Hey, Namara Gloria. Algeria. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being around, Gloria, from Algeria. Who else is around? uh, okay, a few seconds to start. Who else is around? So, guys, I want to talk to us about this. Watching from Kawa West, Kenya, Manti Kamau. I can see you. All right, guys, I want to talk to you about perspective, about the overall journey of life we are on. Listen to this parable. What if, as a baby, you were born and abandoned, and the kids were thrown away, God forbid. Let's imagine you were thrown away in the swaddled clothes, or those clothes that wrap babies in bloody and all that. And then you were thrown away, but along later on, a wayfaring man picks you up, finds you, picks you up, and carries you with him, takes you to his home, and you're taken care of by a family doctor. You grow there, and until you come to till you come you can think, let's say you are 10, 12 years, something like that, and then the question of where you need to belong needs to be decided. You were rescued from definite death through the elements, through the weather, the sun, the dogs, starvation, anything. Where baby is exposed and left there, they will die. But you are rescued right just on time. You are told your story and shown photographs and shown. And then you're told, now you need to decide the story of your belonging. You can go out there, maybe try to trace your people, try to do, it's okay. Or we give you an option. Uh, you can be adopted here, although there's usually a hefty price. You come to realize that this is actually the ruling family, the royal family. And the one who adopted you is the only son of the king. And the king is a benevolent administrator who rules powerfully but gently. All right. And the hefty price of becoming a royal child is very high. It's not easy. It's not easy. Not everyone gets that chance. Then suddenly, the prince, the person who rescued you tells you, I like your manners. I would like to invite you to belong to our family. And I'm going to pay everything, the hefty price from my own coffers. I'll pay for you to belong to us. All you need to do is accept the offer. Wow. You can hardly believe your luck. You quickly sign up and you become son of the king. Now, you're being taught, you use literature to read about how king's sons and daughters behave, the children of the king. So you start reading the literature, start studying, you're given a guide to show you around, you're shown the way. Then you learn the bigger picture also, that the king has enemies. And they have pockets of revolt all around the realm. And they spread rumors and trash talk about the king, that he's and imposed, oh, he is a non-entity. They come up with the theories to discredit him. When they have to acknowledge the work he has done in arranging the realm and bringing it to order, they don't call him the king. They call him the force of universe. They call him nature. They call him force of life. They call him anything to avoid acknowledging him. They call him a non-entity. They tell him, you are nobody. And you learn that this prince who rescued you runs an organization that rescues abandoned children like you, and that he has rescued many. But they always have to make a decision of where they want to belong once they become of age. And many have chosen to side with the enemies who insult the king and call him nobody, call him bad names. The king is calm and collected and said he can wait, but he has assigned a day of battle to decide these issues. And the place he has assigned the battle between him and the enemies once and for all is called Armageddon in Greek. In Hebrew, it's called Megiddo. It's a valley called the Valley of Decision, mentioned in Revelation 16, from 14 to 16. Revelation 16:16, but if you start at verse 14, you get it wrong. Let's go on with the parable. Imagine your work is to convince other children to sign up to belong to the king. The king has laid a plan. Once you become a member, now you're being given the plan of the kingdom. The plan is to get rid of these enemies after that battle. And the king wants a larger family, so he has asked his son and all the children he has adopted to the father, to the family, to recruit others so that the king can have a sizable family. He wants to establish a reign. And he has given you a window of time to work with. And you can see everything is geared towards a major combat. You can see armies preparing. You can see armory gathering. You can see, you actually go to see the Secretary of War. Yeah? Secretary of War called Michael, the Prince. Yeah? It's another prince who's the Secretary of War. You've seen Department of Defense gearing up for a major face down. But out there is a lot of noise. People call themselves anything to discredit the king. They call themselves non-believers. They call themselves questioning or doubtful or agnostics or atheists. Come up with anything. And they don't think. The only thing is because they don't want to deal with any authority. It's an ego problem. It's pride. Pride. And they have other rebels, big rebels, who are leading the packs, who are leading their groups. There's a lot of noise, therefore, in the kingdom. No, he is not a king. No, he is king. It's a lot of noise. They call your king religion. But for you, it's not. It's reality. He picked you from definite death, cleaned you up, brought you up, adopted you son of the king, daughter of the king. You are so grateful. This is how you see the world, folks. This thing I've told you is the reality of us all as the children of God. God is not a religion, it's a reality. We are fed from his hand day by day. His answer walks with you, but he remains sufficiently hidden from the haters, from the enemies, because he has a day he will deal with them. Right now, he just wants to bring his family together. Gratitude is a matter of perspective. There's a person called J.C. Ryle who said, the reason Christians are so quiet about their faith is because they forget the burden of gratitude. How you can afford to keep quiet about the prince or big deal when you're lost in sin, when you're nobody, cleaned you up, brought you up, and then asked you to join his family. And he paid the cost on the cross. He paid the whole price with his own blood. People say the world says don't impose religion on anyone, your values on anyone. Oh, harsh, don't talk. Those are the enemies of the king. When you are so grateful, you can't help it. We're not trying to be preachy or mouthy. It's just how we were brought about, what was done to us. We can't help but talk about it. Perspective. Gratitude is a perspective. If you lose perspective of where you are in the world and who you are, and how you were brought here, what was done to you, who God is to you, that's why you afford to keep quiet, keep it low key. You don't, because you forget. And if you forget who you are to God and who God is to you, you lose perspective. You get lost in the world. I strongly recommend you remember. Pray for remembrance. Ask to be brought to perspective. One thing I keep praying God is that I don't lose situational awareness of where I am, who He is to me, and that He is everything to me. You can't help but talk about the Prince who picked you. You can't help, whether they hate Him or not. Picked you, rescued you. Let us make it our practice to remind ourselves. One of the simple ways to remember is to read the book of the custom of the kingdom, the Bible, to guide you about the ways of the kingdom. Don't be alien to that book. It is what accustoms you, prepares you, changes your thinking, trains you. This is your Jonathan. You are David. You are meant to belong to the kingdom. You're being adopted, but you grew up outside the kingdom. You need to be cultured. You need to commune. You need to talk, establish communication with the king. Folks, don't lose perspective. Gratitude is perspective. We don't talk about God to irritate people. It's because we are just thankful of what He has done to us. I want to ask you, have you lost perspective? If you lose perspective, you get lost in the world.